Yo, yo.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Hoss, man. This is the Corey Harrison Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we have Jairus. He's a little bit cranky today. Jairus has not slept since the last time you saw him. We've been working out this whole OBS thing. What a wonderful free product to get. Much unlike anything that YOLO makes. Once again, they're my most hated actual thing in the entire world.
I am cranky, man.
You've been cranky all day.
I know.
You know, it's a. I mean, I think once you heard that Trump got, someone tried to kill Trump again. You know, I think that it just bothered you that much or something. You know, it.
Well, it's not supposed to put you in a good mood though. If our president,
I mean,
if there's an attempt at assassination,
I mean, it shouldn't.
But
for the third time, come on, people. Like we have more guns than anywhere else in the entire world, and by no means am I condoning this behavior. Everybody knows in the world that I am a pretty big Trump supporter, but goddamn, like, I mean, what the fuck? Why three times? Like, what has this guy done so bad? The correspondence dinner was about free speech, and it was sponsored by Grindr. Like, I mean, I
know, but can we? I don't want to talk politics, dude. Please.
We're not talking about politics. It's probably about. I'm just finding it funny that it was about Grindr.
I'll make it clear. I don't like to talk about politics.
Let's see. Both. I mean, I feel like you guys tell me what you think. You know, it's a live show. Should we talk about some kind of current events?
Well, we do have a plan, Corey.
So,
believe it or not. This is the thing.
But that's not only the start of this blah 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 meltdowns and everyday.
What?
But I mean, don't you guys just feel like every day people are just doing more and more ridiculous shit? Like, what was it that you were telling me?
What? When?
Like the craziest. It's like just ridiculously bad behavior has become normal. It's realistically like. Nothing makes sense anymore. Like,
yeah, but you know, most people are normal. By far, the highest percentage of people are normal. Like, you know, it only takes a few crazy people.
Trust me, I believe most people are normal, but I believe that most people are now like becoming less and less normal. Like, I believe like the bar is getting set lower for what normal is.
Right.
You know, like I really do. Like, I feel like the bar. You know, isn't there somebody who's like running into what? Like you said, running. I don't know. I saw a guy that just like he got arrested for walking into a police station and just sitting on the ground and just to get YouTube views, started cutting his hair and screaming to the top of his lungs. You know, there's YouTube influencers out there taking hammers to their face and trying to, you know.
Hold on, we got an echo on this show. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. Let me fix this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Corey, what were you saying though?
Because he was trying to sell some illegal peptides or something on his YouTube page, and I'm like. And I don't even know why I know who this guy is, other than he hits himself in the face with a hammer.
I think your old man would say it best. He would say, you know what? Some people's children. Some people's children, bro.
You know, it's just getting to be more and more like, just every day. It's just something, just where you're like, you know, you just kind of like, don't you? Does anybody else feel this way, guys? I mean, I'm just saying, every day. Or at least twice a week, you just get like a what the fuck, like a what the fuck, what is happening again, like what like to where it, like insane stuff that was insane 10 years ago is now just completely normal.
Yeah,
like nothing shocks you anymore.
And it used to be just for people from Florida. No offense, but
now Florida's like the good place to live.
I know.
You know, now
I feel like you always hear like Pennsylvania and Florida. Yeah. Right, someone's up with those states, but
I mean, I'm just like I'm looking around. Like I wouldn't go back to New York on a bet from everything I've seen lately.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know that being the president is
Birdie is saving me over here. Thank you, Birdie. God, I don't know. Oh, hold on, let me see this. I'm gonna fix everything, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fixing everything.
So, did you know that being a president of the United States is considered to be largely one of the most dangerous jobs in the world?
Yeah, I know.
It's something like a quarter of all presidents have had at least one credible assassination attempt on them.
I believe it. I mean, I know it is dangerous because, well, there haven't been that many presidents, so.
But per capita,
Yeah.
like, but I mean, I mean, God, I'm reading right here. It's worse than logging and working on an oil rig.
Damn. I'm Blaze Ev. I'm putting the comments bottom. I apologize for that. They're coming on right now. Okay. Birdie is saving us, man.
And, I mean, shit, dude. I mean, if it wasn't for the whole mailing bombs to people thing, I mean, I think you halfway think Ted Kaczynski kind of had it right. He just lived in a cabin in the woods and said, "Leave me alone."
Yeah. Yeah. People are, yeah, you know what? No one's, I think it's a lack of home training, bro. Like, no one is, I don't know. We lost something in our society.
It's, I mean, like, I'm going to go into, kind of just like, like, do you remember, I mean, you have a kid now. Do you remember, like, God, I want to say like 10, 12 years ago, people were talking about putting GPS tags inside their kids?
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, do you know, like, there's something like maybe like 90 kids, 60 kids a year get kidnapped by a complete and total stranger. Like that being said, I mean, there's like 10, 12 people a week. There's like 7 people a week that win the lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I don't think there's not that many.
Okay, well, so I mean, you have the
How could that
you have the
be
California lottery, you have Powerball, you have Mega Millions.
Yeah.
All these things get 2 drawings a week. That's 6 chances a week to win. Plus, you have the giant scratchers, and I don't know how many other ones there are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can realistically make the statement that there's probably there's probably 2 people a week that make $1 million off winning the lottery. Hell, I live in Vegas, man. I was born in Vegas. Hit a slot machine, some big thing like that.
Let's see. I have. Here we go.
Dude, I'll definitely give it to you, dude. Like people like. I truly believe you have. People like everybody just is freaking out over. Like, I don't know. It's just, like when I moved to Mexico, man, everybody was asking me if I was afraid of getting kidnapped.
What'd you say?
First of all, good luck getting me in the trunk of a car.
Like, you can't fit or what?
I mean, because I'm gonna starfish and I'm not going. Beyond that, like, I mean, let's just face it. Like, you have a better chance of kidnapping like a cute 8-year-old blonde, pretty little white girl.
That's true because she probably can't defend herself as well.
I'll probably get. I believe I'll probably get more media coverage.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure I'll probably get more media coverage if I get kidnapped.
You think? Oh my god,
dude! I mean, I'm still on in 135 countries in a bunch of different languages. I feel like it would be like a big thing. Like, by the way, this is not a challenge out there to anybody. I'm not saying I'm impervious to any kind of like, let's play a game and see if we could. No. I'm just saying it's never been anything I'm really afraid of. I mean, plus it's not like, you're not going to shave my head and make me look different and make, like, come on. I live in Mexico. I'm about a foot taller than everybody. I'm covered in tattoos. It's just not especially if you're going to just kidnap me and like make me go work for you or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the comments to work, and I turned everything on for everyone to comment on. I'm not trying to block comments. This is so
unprofessional.
No, but I just look at it. They're on. I turned everything on. They always were on, but I don't see anyone in there. So obviously something is wrong here. Let's see. I don't know what's wrong here. Trying to help everyone out here. Live chat, boom.
Only viewers selected by the channel can send messages.
Really? I'm not doing that on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna figure this out right now. I want, we always get to a rough start anyways because we need an engineer, but we are getting one. We just called someone today, right, Corey?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. He lives in the Philippines though, so I'm just kidding. That's not a knock to anyone from the Philippines. It's just that it's a faraway country. We're gonna get this on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Okay. It says here that Corey feels insecure about people commenting, so you wanted to turn it off. Why'd you do that, Corey?
They were saying a lot of stuff. So me and you've been kind of arguing a little bit lately because you've been your hangriness and your.
It's good that you got food for me today, man.
I got something else inside you too today.
What?
You know what you gave me for my birthday?
By the way, someone did think it was your birthday today.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me also
you need to address that.
I would love to. For all the people that hit me up on Instagram and everything else for it being my birthday, for some reason, and I've never really bothered to change it on Wikipedia because it kind of lets me know who knows when my birthday is and who just looked it up.
But if people don't know you, they have to look it up. Most of your fans don't know you, so don't put it on them like that.
But I have like aunts and uncles and like cousins and stuff that hit me.
Okay, don't make people feel guilty if they had to look up your birthday.
So, but no, my birthday is actually April 28th, so that'll be tomorrow. And it's also what I use on Tinder.
Why is that?
Well, I like to use History Channel stock footage.
You like to use History Channel stock footage?
I like it to look like it could possibly be somebody pretending to be me. That way I have plausible deniability.
Okay.
Oh, that's not me. Somebody made up a fake one.
Okay, here we go. I'm fixing this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Corey wanted only one person to be able to comment on the channel today, on the show. And it was his. Who was she, Corey?
My beautiful mother.
That's nice. Okay. You go comments on my.
And so what else is going on, guys? Tell me when you guys start saving up some.
Corey, why don't you tell me about the topics we're going to discuss today, and I'll bring.
We're gonna start doing a thing where it's we're gonna start calling it dumbing it down with Corey, or we're gonna call it Haas's Razor. I'll let you guys pick what it is. You guys are part of the camp. If there's one thing I've always been really good at, the production company on Pawn Stars and everybody hated it, is because I can really, really simplify a lot of problems. It's sometimes if you look at things in reverse and you just really kind of take some of the stuff and just kind of look at it backwards, and you realize how much it don't make sense. Like, for example, I see all these guys out there. They're going to teach you how to make millions of dollars using AI to get a podcast or to make money on YouTube. I've had quite a few businesses in my life, guys. No one likes competition. No one likes competition. No one's going to. That means they're not good at what they do at all, and they're going to sell you their book of secrets. That it just doesn't work that way. So just kind of run it back from there. If a guy bets you that he can breathe underwater, then he's willing to make the bet that he probably can.
Yeah, right.
One of my favorite episodes of all time, or most of it probably never made air, was the Incan Cup on Pawn Stars.
Oh my God, you're bringing up the ink. Here we go.
The Incan Cup.
I can't wait to hear about the Incans again. Go ahead.
It was a silver cup.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there for about 2.5 hours. Well, what made this cup so special? Nothing. It was a cup. Did they drink some kind of special liquor out of it? Maybe. I don't know what the whole dishware situation is in those times in Latin America or South America. But it's a cup. Who knows what the guy? Maybe he kept his whatever kind of change he had in it. Maybe I'm sure he drank water on it. Do you want to know the history of the cup? You're like, and this is literally where it gets out. Well, one day a guy got tired of throwing his head in a lake. It's cold outside, so he used some kind of thing and scooped stuff into his mouth.
Right.
That's the history of the cup. And why was it made of silver? Well, silver was plentiful. Latin America still is one of the most silver-rich countries or silver-rich places in the world.
Yeah.
And it kind of just ended with me getting in an argument with a producer saying, you know what, maybe he just used it to throw at his kids. I don't know. He had a cup. People needed cups. It's like, why'd they invent the wheel?
Yeah. But so we're calling this section about the weird topics and stories. What the hell is happening?
Weird topics and stories.
That's how you feel in the morning, right? When you wake up?
Well, just
whenever you wake
in general, like, so, we'll kind of go into this, guys. Everybody likes to, it's the world is not coming to an end. The world is not broken. Your neighbors aren't out to get you because they believe in a different, they want to vote for a different guy. You guys aren't enemies. It's literally gotten to a world. It seems like the world has gotten to a place where it, has become where you're like, it's everybody again, one half versus the other. There's this giant divide that everybody's trying to make happen between everybody.
I don't know how people have the time to be acting so crazy. I don't have any time during the day to even get out there. I want to do something crazy. I don't even have time.
Oh, dude, we were talking about that the other day, man. During when the whole quarantine thing was going down, dude, I was so stoked to like I had my riding gear on and everything. Like I was waiting for, but no, it was a non-event to me. But it just when. AI is not going to take over the world on you, at least not in your lifetime. The Terminator thing ain't going to happen.
You sure?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we can install an off switch in them. Mm-hmm. Don't we have these EMP things that we could just shut them?
No, that's the thing. I just watched a video with the guy who created AI, and AI is already getting to a point where they're so intricate in all of our networks and systems and stuff. Like they almost have a switch where they will not allow us to turn them off.
Let's just roll that back. You're referring to AI as they.
No, I said they.
Yeah, it's they.
Hey,
it's an it.
It may. It's gonna have consciousness sooner or later.
Hold on,
if it doesn't already.
And I will admit.
First of all, I was about to say, you already know, you're.
Hold on, I'm gonna admit
go ahead.
I've been yelled at by my girlfriend because I speak more politely to Boothing, my AI assistant, than I do her. I understand.
Me too, by the way.
But no, I mean, just in general, it just all kind of comes boiling down to there's just too put your cell phones down. There's too much information. People are sitting there on guys. It's 25% of males between 16 and 24 have never asked a girl out on an actual date.
That's wild. Wow.
That
was my whole goal as a kid.
Yeah, man. And it's because everything's just on the I mean, it's just one of those weird things that just seems to be going on in the world where they almost want you to sit in your house, watch OnlyFans, just sit there, don't drink, smoke weed, stay in your parents' basements forever.
Yeah.
And you know what? Don't have any kind of social out. Don't do anything. Have your food delivered from DoorDash. Don't go out and eat. Mm-hmm. Don't be any kind of social creature at all. And you know what? You
know what people are doing now with AI, or not AI, with reality. The goggles and stuff, the virtual reality. They're going into bars and virtual places to flirt with other people. It's like they're avatars in the bar,
yeah,
and
dude,
they have a drink in their
dude.
hand, but they're really just sitting on their couch. And
Dude, you want to hear something absolutely disturbing? And it's
that?
that there was a family in South Korea. Mother, father. They had a new child at home.
Yeah.
They were addicted to playing some Sims style game. It wasn't that where you were raising a family. The mom and the father were. And these guys actually let their real child starve to death while they were in the internet cafe playing the game. It's.
The show's getting off to a
guys,
funny start.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to give everybody the downer here, man. But I'm like, holy shit, guys, go out there. They're like, when did and this is what gets me. This is how I've begun to feel old, I guess. Because when did my life is basically consisted of like 2 or 3 things.
All right, let's kick it up a notch, like something funny and happy. Because
Well,
there are some weird news. Like people do have a lot of time.
but my point is I want to say thank you to these weirdos
Not
because
those.
they've made it a lot easier for me in this world. For guys like me in the world that like these guys that are just so like inept where they can't actually go out there and get a real life. Thank you very much.
Well, I found some weird stories too. Okay.
Okay, so you forgot some weird stories.
That I want you to react to because it just came out that during the Winter Olympics, the skiers, some of them like that big ski jump that they do, they were they were doping, but in a very unique way. They were using this like acid they were injecting their penis with to make it thicker temporarily for when they were getting fitted for their outfits. It made the whoever's in charge of like their sizes get them a bigger size, and then on the day of competition, their penis would shrink down to regular size again. It would just give them like an added inch or whatever, but that gave them that bagginess down there gave them more of like an aerodynamic glide, so they were able to go farther.
Okay, so
That's crazy.
Okay, so okay.
There's just one.
As a man who has pawned multiple gold medals in my lifetime,
Yeah,
I have
the high jump. Sorry, the high ski jump.
I would actually tell you guys this. At one point in my lifetime, I've had more Super Bowl rings and Olympic medals than probably anybody else on the planet.
Yeah.
And I'll give you every one of them for free before I let you start sticking a needle in my
all
dick.
this for a medal. I mean, just for a medal.
Like, I mean, no one, like, can we just say this about the Olympics in general?
What?
Beyond the super duper star NBA basketball team that comes out and plays every once in a while, we all just pretend to give a shit about this fucking these sports fucking every 4 years, anyways, dude. Like, come on, like, is it really like? Tell me,
I went to a high jump.
Tell me one bobsledder.
I know.
Like this. Like, I mean, I get it.
I don't even know how that's like. I appreciate that they're going like 80 miles an hour on a little sled.
But
doesn't it feel like anyone could do that sport? Like you basically just have to have the balls to sit on a little sled.
I'm just sitting there like, okay, so like the shot put guy, like that guy's shoulders fucked up for life.
Yeah.
And what like you tell me like what's the average Olympic gold medal shot put thrower making? Like the only
I think that's why they're always the athletes are always acting crazy in their camp, because they're not like well-seasoned travelers. They're not rich. They're on vacation. They're competing. They spend
yeah, dude. Like, it's like from what I understand, the Olympic Village is like
Olympic Village is a lot.
They're just like slanging out the condoms at the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
But no, like, you want to inject something in my fucking schlong to make me do a ski jump better? Like, I mean, dude.
But the story does highlight that there's something to make your penis member just more, I guess, if some guys need that. You never know.
You ever got fitted for a really expensive suit?
Yeah.
Really, like, were they? They had to like measure which way you hang it and stuff like that.
I've also been fitted for, I want to brag, but custom jeans.
Yeah, custom jeans, huh?
Yeah. I've had jeans. I went into the shop and had jeans made for me, like from scratch.
No wonder you're as broke as I am.
It wasn't even that much, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right. Just wondering.
It wasn't like buying a pair of Helmut Langs or something. Yeah.
All right. I've got a couple pairs of jeans that fit me well, and I've never really had to worry about it.
Dude.
So
you never know, you don't know what jeans are until you have them made for you.
Where are they at? You got a pair with them?
Well, they wore it. It was like 10 years ago. So
yeah,
I wear my jeans out.
Okay, so hold on. Like, so you don't.
Yes, I do.
You lost the jeans, didn't you?
No.
You lost the fucking jeans, didn't you? I know how you are, dude. I know how your brain works. You left the jeans and lost you left the jeans in a hotel room somewhere.
Yeah, dude. Like, you know me well. First of all, I can't hang out to any clothes. I don't know what happens. What happens? Like, it's not like I'm throwing my clothes around everywhere. They go in one spot. They go. I get them clean. Get them packed.
Because at one point in your life,
and I just can't get them back.
At one point in your life, probably not in the last. We'll say 8 years. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus.
How'd you know I lose my shit like that?
You were a rambling man, Jarris. You were a rambling kind of guy. You were in and out of hotel rooms.
That's true.
You were leaving.
I lived in a hotel room basically for like 10 years straight.
Yeah, but you weren't always in your own hotel room. You had to sneak out of those hotel rooms.
I got like level 18 on my hotels tonight.
Oh, buddy,
that's high.
Dude, we did Pawn Stars Do America. I still got points.
I know. All right, but
So what's up, Camp? I didn't want to not be paying attention to you guys here, but sometimes I just got I got a really, really tired guy with ADD that I got to work with every day.
Why am I tired, Corey? Why am I tired, Corey? Yeah, this is
Adderall
your world we're in, bro.
Adderall is illegal in Mexico. That's why
No, I'm tired because this is your chaotic world that you have not set up for me properly, and I'm trying. I am fighting my nuts off to make it good here.
Okay,
right?
hold up.
Yeah, hold up.
I am really, really, really shocked to hear you say that.
So you're gonna sit here and you're gonna tell me that this studio, everything was all set, turnkey, baby. Just walked in. I was like, hey, let's produce this.
No, we had a turnkey studio, but then you decided.
When did you have a turnkey studio?
You decided to tear it all down and do it yourself.
What?
Because you have such weird ass ADD.
Okay, you tell me when I got here, you had a studio.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of cameras were you using back then?
These ones, actually.
How many podcasts did you produce so far?
Well, I didn't have it because I was waiting for you.
Are you waiting for me, huh? Oh, yeah,
that was the deal we made.
Yeah. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is Corey being brutally honest, but he lies. Even when he's lying right now, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so you guys see Jarris right now?
He's
I
lying.
want you to look at his dimples right now. So when you see Jarris's dimples, this is a really good tell of his.
What?
So if one of his dimples is more pronounced than the other, it means Jarris is getting a little aggro and angry.
If Corey's mouth is moving, ladies and gentlemen, he's probably telling a lie. you know what the old saying is, how can you tell a producer is lying?
I don't know. How could I?
He's talking.
Thank you, producer.
I'm not lying though. Listen.
You tell me how many lies I've told you.
16 today.
And today, when?
Yeah.
Give me something I lied to you about.
Well, we didn't talk really today.
Yeah, because you threw a little hissy fit.
Yeah.
Because you stomping out, just short of slamming a door. It was cute. It's okay. We've learned how to live with each other.
We do.
Guys, you know what it's like to live and work with a like it's. You ever have a little big brother?
You ever have a little brother? Or today's gonna be the day.
I'm gonna tell people about how you told the girl that you'll have me.
I'm gonna air the lost episode of our show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lost episode
of what?
Of you and I
doing what?
recording a show that never made it to the internet, bro. And I tell you what, it'll be a really interesting episode if I aired it.
Are you talking about the one upstairs in the massage table?
I'm talking about the one of you. Don't try to make shit up. By the way, he's making shit up again just to try to get. Nah, I'm talking about the one we were having right here, and you're like, you had to stop it down. You're like, wait, hold on. You're like, is this serious or are you? Is this real? Remember?
No, I don't.
We got into that argument.
I don't.
We did.
I don't remember at all. I promise you I don't.
Really? Yeah, we got into an argument, and then you didn't know if I was doing a bit or not, which I never really do a bit. So I was angry at you, and then you pulled the mic to say, you're like, wait, is this a bit that we're doing for the show? You thought maybe I was like scripting something out, an argument.
Not really.
It's a good thing we weren't live back then.
I'm not really. Yeah, I really don't. But I like the fact that you keep footage that you like the black people.
Dude, all the footage is on a drive. You know that. It's not mine. You can have it if you want it right now. I'll give it to you. You know? Release the tapes. You know what tapes we haven't released too? If you guys are wanting to know about tapes we haven't released, the lost episode. Also, there's 2 lost episodes, ladies and gentlemen. There's that one where Corey and I argued, and there's the one at Holebox. Remember that one?
Yeah, I mean, I
The
think
lost episode at
we've
Holebox.
talked enough about it. We've alluded enough to it.
What got me hooked was when Corey got intel on you snacking on a Snickers. Yeah. See that? That's true. You did, like, you do try to spy on me.
I don't spy on you.
Yes, you do. Other people do that. You just hire, like, that's like saying I'm not violent, but I ain't the only one with hands in this world.
Did you say what?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said, that's like saying I'm not violent, but I'm not the only one with hands in this world.
Ladies and gentlemen, he said that to a girl. Basically, that was my big little brother saying that Corey will hit him if he comes over here.
No. All right. Now you're just crossing the line. 'Cause
Well,
people don't think this is real.
I thought we were playing. I thought we were doing a bit.
Oh, you thought we were doing a bit?
Yeah, I thought we were doing a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's up, guys? Tell me. Tell me what you guys think is the craziest thing going on in the world right now.
Well, I got more. Plus, I got more stuff.
We got more stuff. Let's
Yeah.
hear it.
Check this out. You ready? There is a World Cup, Corey, for sperm. Okay? People are having their sperm race other sperms. What do you think about that? Yeah, I knew that would get you. And I feel like if our sperms were racing, bro, it wouldn't even be a competition. You know?
Well, clearly you have a kid and I don't. Dude, ladies and
You think that's what causes speed? Like just having a fast sperm?
well, I mean, mine aren't making anywhere, dude. I got a vasectomy, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but so scientists are so people are putting sperm under a microscope, and they're having the sperm like start from a certain point, and they have to watch it under a microscope, and they're racing.
Are they like betting on it?
Yeah, like well, it's a real competition.
Okay, guys, I don't mean to. I don't know what words I could say on here, but I mean, I'm not a fan of a certain topic, but I'm just gonna say that some of the retroactive abortion is not always a bad thing. Like as long as it's done retroactively, like because these people don't need to be around. I'm sorry, like like I don't need the guy out there who's making money. I don't need. There's a bookie out there.
Would you feel a certain way though if like our sperms were racing and mine whooped your ass? Whooped your sperm's ass? Would you feel it? You'd feel bad, wouldn't you?
I would be super fucking quick. I would be super like fucking freak the fuck out, dude. Like if you asked me to have my sperm race yours, like at any given time.
I don't even like looking at sperm under the microscope. I remember I was working on a medical show one time and the doctor wanted me to look at sperm.
Oh, you looked at sperm under a microscope?
Huh?
Was it yours?
No, it wasn't mine. It was like a case I was filming, and someone had to have their sperm looked at under a microscope. And the doctor was like, "You want to see it?" And I was like, "Not really." He's like, "You don't want to see it?" And I was like, "I'm good. I really don't want to see someone." I don't know what it was. I was like, "I'm good."
So yeah, that's we can eliminate those people. a little bit.
It's a big competition, though. It started in 2025. It's
the
coming out
whole
again.
sperm donor thing freaked me out when there was it was like 10 years ago. There was the couple in England that found out that it was father and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had donated, and then like 10 years, or like I don't know, like 20 years, like 30 years later, whatever, it ended up being his daughter that he was dating when they went to get a blood test. Like that, that was something I heard on the radio at one point in my lifetime. I don't know how true it is, but like, like that's it's just weird to me, man. I don't know. Let's get rid of those people, especially the ones that are.
Why do you want to get rid of it?
You know what? Because there's a bookie going out there collecting debts on people whose sperm was slow.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone wants to know what acid you can inject into your penis to make it to grow the girth temporarily. I know you're probably gonna look this up.
Motor oil. It's motor oil. It's not an acid. It's motor oil. You know what?
It's called hyaluronic acid.
You know what, guys?
HYA.
If you want to inject that, I'm gonna go with Muradic, like the same kind you use in your pool. Just go ahead and give it a shot. Please don't do that.
I think the sales of hyaluronic acid is probably gonna go up.
Uric acid? Are you saying uric acid?
I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying, I said it. Damn it. I said it. It's called, I forgot what it's called. Hyla, uronic acid.
So what have you been doing today about like you've been just researching a lot of, you thinking about having another kid?
What the hell has that got to do with anything?
I don't know. You're talking about special assets to inject in you for sperm racing. I mean, this sounds like.
See, this shows that we have to do this show, Corey. It's 3 days a week. We got to do it, bro. Yeah, I know you're so cool. You can sit there.
We're doing a show, bro.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
I
have to prep for this shit.
Did you just throw out? Was it like?
I wasn't searching for that, but it came across my.
But you picked it.
When I see that, yeah.
But you picked
it. The headline was penis doping. I was like, what's going on? I know you like penis topics though, so I was like, fuck. Maybe you'll like it.
I like my penis.
Also, have you ever heard of
Please don't let me anything else about penises.
I got 3 more penis stories. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, there's a thing on TikTok called TikTok Do Your Thing, right?
Okay.
So, and this is like one of those trending like types of videos that people post, and basically they see someone in public, maybe at an airport or gas station, and they think this is like a person they'd be interested in. So they'll shoot the video of these people like in public and post it on TikTok, and they'll hashtag it TikTok Do Your Thing. And there's a lot of people on TikTok that like to do research about who someone is. Whenever someone goes viral, let's say that you go viral for like doing something really stupid on the internet, people will try to figure out who you are. So they hashtag it TikTok Do Your Thing, and then people will figure out who these people are for the person to have a love connection. It's almost like a Craigslist misconnection thing. You ever heard of that? Now, to me, that like if I was out in public and someone was filming me because they thought, and they didn't come up to me instead of just like, but they took the time to film me instead of just talking to me. I'd be like, that's weird. You're too scared to come up to me and talk to me. But
so you got a pickup line at all, or anything that she would use back in the day?
Nope.
Just no.
I don't use pickup lines.
Okay, so how do you meet a girl at a bar?
Because
by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's the generation that we're actually from. It's a
we had to meet people to go out.
I still like it.
We had to meet people. We didn't use dating apps, but my whole thing is I like to just organically start talking to somebody. I have to find something interesting, to talk about. Like, I'm not going to use a pickup line. I just think that's kind of. I bet you're a king of pickup lines. I know.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would throw the corniest, cheesiest one out there, and I'm like, and then I would go straight into self-deprecation mode.
What's that?
Like, hey, what's up? How you doing? How much does a polar bear weigh? enough to break the ice. Did that work? I know that was just like the lamest thing I could possibly say. I just like, hey, I was sitting there and I saw how awesome you were, and I just want to know what does it take to talk to you. So how are you doing? My name's Corey.
What was this, like a Vegas
You ever see that show, Pawn Stars?
Vegas 5?
Dude, come on, dude. I've been on TV since I was like 23 years old, dude. You think I really had it? Like, it never really was an issue.
When I was my first job out of school was working for this gig for HBO, and I was out to dinner. I was a production assistant, and I was out to dinner with executive producers. And there was a couple celebrities there. I can't say their name, but we're all sitting in Boston at this dinner table having seafood, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a table in the restaurant, 3 women sitting at it. And everyone at the table, they were talking about these women at the table. And so everyone put money on the table. They said, they dared me. They said, you can have all the money on this table if you walk up to those women and say, the first line out of your mouth has to be, hey, which one of you ladies is coming home with me tonight? And if I did that and they let me sit down and have dinner with them, they were going to give me all the money on the table. It's like a pool of money. I was like 22 years old.
Super simple, bro.
Yeah.
So, hey, which one of you ladies is coming home with me tonight?
This is so. I was like, this is too easy.
Okay, but the one thing I've never really had was like,
I did it though. I made all that money. It was good.
yeah, because I would have immediately said, because if I
They
say,
acted like I was doing something crazy. I wasn't going up to them and say, I'm gonna really fuck one of you guys up.
no. So, hey, what's up, guys? I see all that money on the table right there. So all these people bet me that I wouldn't ask which one of you guys are coming home with me tonight. And if one of you would like to, that's awesome.
Well, I gotta admit, you know what I did? I walked up to first of all, I knew I was just gonna walk up and be funny, right? So I said, hey ladies, which one of you is coming home to me tonight? And they were like, and I just said, I'm just kidding. I was like, they bet me to say that. And they're like, have a seat. They told me to have a seat right there. I had dinner with them on it.
See, it's all about just, by the way, if you're out there, those guys that are not asking women out anymore, that are sitting there watching them, recording it on camera, trying to meet them online instead of actually seeing them in person. It's not that hard to start a conversation.
I don't think people do that anymore. No, they do. They have to.
Dude,
right?
you know what
I don't go out. I don't go out like that
anymore. I got this up from another guy that's on YouTube too. But I told my sister this too, because I know and it actually worked for her. Let the air out of your tire at the air pump at a 7-Eleven or at a gas station at like 7:30 in the morning.
What's this? Who did you say this?
Well, my sister. She wanted to meet a guy with a job, like a good dude. Like a guy was, so I was like, go to a gas station, let the air out of your tire in front of the air pump, let it out, let the air out, and act like you don't know how to fill the tire up.
Mm-hmm.
And guarantee you, one of the construction workers on his way into work is going to come over and help you fill your tire. And then all you got to do is talk to him, and then bam, 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 bam.
That seems like a lot of work.
It's not that hard, though.
Oh, man.
Well, how much work is it?
I don't know. What do you think about dating apps? There's the thing about dating apps. It's just too much. It's too much. Something that it takes away the challenge. You know
what? I'm just always going to be better in person than I am going to be on a dating app. And I'll admit, I got a Tinder profile. Guess what? ChatGPT answers all the questions for me.
So you have chat writing?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, beautiful, you are the best. The way that you move, your style is so sexy.
I tell it to be like overly arrogant. But listen, I can't.
Do you give away your who you are, or is it?
Well, you could. It looks like it could be somebody pretending to be me.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Corey's on Tinder. You never know.
But so the problem is that first of all, I hate texting. I absolutely, positively hate it.
I like it.
See, texting to me is 1 to 5 words max. That's what texting is supposed to be for.
That's old texting, bro.
Like I
like
don't
those
want,
flip
I don't
phones.
like to seriously sit there. If you text me a novel,
See, that's because you're not a writer.
no. Like my girl will text me something.
I'm creative.
It's like that long of a text.
Yeah.
I ain't reading it.
You shouldn't. By the way, you want to talk about mile-long text? This morning, what are you sending me a whole Bible for? I'm not reading that.
Oh, that's because I use talk text.
Yeah, so you're a hypocrite. That you definitely do that. I should show you guys this. Corey will text me a whole novel in the morning. I'm like, I refuse to read it because I'm not dating you and I don't think you're cute, so I'm not gonna read it.
You don't think I'm cute?
Nah, I don't think you're
Not
cute
even a
either.
little bit.
So I'm not gonna
Not
read.
even a little bit.
No. So I'm not gonna read your mind.
No,
Little
Chess
text.
is gone.
Huh? Why would you send me? You do the exact same thing you're talking about, though.
No, I will send a. I know it's fashionable now, but I'm not. You don't have to read it.
I'm creative. I can write. I'm a good writer, and I can get I can use my words
So
way
can I.
better than
As a matter of fact,
chat could.
as a matter of
I
fact,
would not rely on chat for
as a matter of
flirting.
fact, I've actually made a living using my words for a long time.
You did, or were they?
I've never got a script.
Or were those words given to you?
What, on a piece of paper? Nope.
I'm just kidding. We did not use.
It would be a whole lot harder to actually get to give me to read a script than it would be. Come on now,
I know.
You know me absolutely well enough. I haven't checked an email.
Every time I come up with an idea for a show and stuff, like Corey's like, "Oh yeah, just print it out. Let me read it." I know it's a cop out for you to just get out of having a meeting and paying attention, because you don't read shit.
I mean, like if anything, like my thing with
You know, if you read though,
you know an app I love is Speechify,
why?
because I would be on my way into work in the morning.
Yeah, but you know that doesn't like for memory. The speech.
Don't tell me what
listening
works.
doesn't. Listening to audio doesn't
Oh,
work.
really? Really? 'Cause it's
You retain more if
audio, visual. You know, there's not different types. There's not different types of learners out there.
No, you retain more information if you read something. I'm just telling you.
I just go ahead and just listen to it about 10 times.
Yeah.
So what's
Or
no,
you
what
go
I
ahead.
did, like what literally what I would do is I would just sit there and I would grab my phone, I would jump in my truck and I'd shoot the email over into Speechify, and I would just listen to what the whole plan was for the day
Yeah.
until I got to work.
And did it work? Probably not.
Well, you know what?
Luckily you're good. Luckily you're playing yourself, so your normal reaction is probably a good
I
one.
was not playing myself.
I'm just saying.
I was playing the 23-year-old version of me.
Right, I'm just saying you're.
I was
you're
playing the dude that looked like the dude that was disguised as the other dude.
See, like when I'm directing a scene, I love it, whether it's a reality show or a scripted format, when people ingrain the story into their head and they come and something feels natural to them, like they react naturally like that. That's the best. You know, you did that for me probably like once every, I don't know,
Thin and
year.
crispy.
What?
Someone else has to prank phone call a pawn shop again. We may do that here soon in the near future, buddy. I don't think we're going to be doing that tonight, but
Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we do need a moderator for this show. Tell them about it, Corey.
so yeah. I mean, if
I
anybody,
mean, we were wondering if anyone's interested in that.
if anybody wants to be a mod, hit me up, man. Hit us up on here. And like, quite honestly, guys, if you guys want to go to the Corey Harrison Show Instagram and send me a message. You know, if you got an interesting story, if you want to be on the show or something like that, we can, you know, maybe we'll bring you on the show.
That's interesting. I like this question from sorry, it's XMR ANON. They wrote, did Corey do that? Sort of create a persona once the camera rolls. Corey, what do you think?
Okay, so let's see, guys. I started filming that show when I was 23 years old. I promise you, by the time
By the way, I'm gonna let you answer this because I have an answer as well.
when I was 23 years old, I started filming that show, and I can promise you, at the age of 40, I was, oh gosh, golly gee shucks, guys. If I make a bad deal, my dad's gonna be so mad at me. Oh my God. No, that's yeah. So there's always gonna be some kind of persona.
Yeah.
And mind you, no matter what, when you're on, you don't get to pick your persona when you're on TV. They pick it for you.
That's not true.
Oh, well,
You're wrong about that. But I will like to. I don't think you mean to say it like that though, because your persona is what it is. I can't go in there and tell you to be Michael Jackson, and I'm like, no, you're going to be Michael Jackson. You can't be Michael Jackson.
So you're telling me that they won't literally put words in your mouth in the editing booth while they're editing the show? Are you telling me?
I would like to explain that. I would like to elaborate. This is a good question.
So are you telling me that they can't? Because we all know, you and I both know, they can cut you up to make you look however you want to look.
Yeah, true. Luckily for the show's sake, no one wants to make you look bad. Maybe if you're on a different show like Housewives, you're going to be edited to you look bad.
In general, guys. I mean, basically.
But I will say that as someone who's directed, hundreds of shows, hundreds of even your show, when producers in directing reality TV, you're just trying to highlight people for how they naturally are. And I would never make Corey like someone who he isn't. But one thing I would do, and I know Corey was annoyed by this, but I would want him to elaborate more on stuff or react to things in his own way. But like, normally in regular life, people don't usually react to everything. People don't comment on everything. But you have to get that.
Let me try to explain it, guys. When you walk into a pawn shop, when you would walk into my pawn shop, do you really think I gave every single customer a history lesson?
Yeah, you did.
No, like just if you weren't, of course not. That's absolutely, of course not.
I don't think you probably did it one time before we showed.
And then beyond that, it's in every single. It doesn't matter no matter what kind of story you're telling. There's always going to be the comic relief. There's going to be the funny guy. There's going to be the star. There's going to be this guy, and there's going to be. And I'm not going to say I was the villain, but I'm going to say that there's going to be there's a certain archetype of people that are going to be on every single show that there is. And whether they pick it or not, that's just going to be who you end up being.
Yeah.
Now, if your personality, my personality probably fits more of what they had me going for, but
no, let's face it, you did have anxiety about being on camera. You said no one's used to being on camera until you have to do it, but you had to do it, and there was some. It's not that we had to make Corey into a different person. He was definitely being himself. You can see him now. He's the same dick he was on Pawn Stars. But I think that you had to learn some techniques in terms of like how to be camera friendly.
It was a lot of, we want you to be you, but not you.
Yeah.
We want you to be the authentic version of you, but can you be less? Could you be less abrasive? Could you? We want you to be. We want you to be you, but just you come off kind of rude. So could you? Well, we're not going to tell you to lose weight. But
they told you to lose weight? I never said that.
Well, no. Who are you?
Yeah,
I never. We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you that you need to lose weight. But we're.
But I don't have a wide angle lens. I'm just joking.
There you go. And we're not going to tell you to lose weight, but you would look a lot better if you were about 150 pounds lighter.
Yeah, and I think people should. You never did really discuss this with people, but you were like driven into major anxiety and shit. And I felt bad about that because you don't know what's going on in someone's personal life, and you see you think they're on TV, they're having a blast, they're having a time of life because they're making a lot of money and they're famous, but that was not a comfortable experience for you. I know that. Well, okay. Emotionally, it was really fucked up.
Okay, so like it's think about it like this. This was my job. This was my business. This was my real life. Now all of a sudden I'm on TV, and then okay, well, now like I'm doing another thing, but like, so I'm late for work and you call my dad. I have nothing to do with you. My dad has nothing to do with this. I'm working on a TV show. Why is the producer of the TV show calling my dad and saying I'm late?
Yeah.
There's just a million and one different things where it's just, it was too many things all wrapped up into one single thing. Even before the show, I had my personal life, my whole life at home with my mom, or not my mom, and my wife. I had another relationship with my mom and my dad. I had a relationship with my biological mom, relationship with my brother. And then, then a relationship, and I had a job to do. And then, and then when Pawn Stars comes around, they mixed all that up into one pot.
Yeah.
And now everything means everything about everything about everything. And it's like, holy shit. And
by the way, Corey, I think this is a good segue into Corey Dumbs It Down, because this is where you get to let the audience know about something that you know a lot about that people probably don't understand really. And you, let's keep it to reality TV right now.
Okay, so reality TV is this, guys. It is basically a format of television to where basically they don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay for actors, and they don't want to deal with the unions. So they still have.
That's not our fault. That's the industry's fault. I feel like it should be unionized.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody would like to be that way, but that's why there's so much reality TV.
Would you like it like that? Would you like to be unionized?
You know what, man? I'm not gonna complain either way. I was lucky enough.
Your days would have gone a lot longer if there was a union.
I was lucky enough to be on a really successful show, and remember, I didn't. You guys, no one had to pay for any set design, or you guys didn't have to pay a location fee, or there was no location fee at the shop, it was still my place of business. It was still my place. It was still my home. So regardless, it's if you're really, really, really good, like maybe the top 1% of people that do reality TV get what we had. And we were lucky enough to be able to get to this point, but we made very good money on our upfront. We got paid a lot of money per episode up front.
I think you guys were one of the highest. I don't know.
We were up there, but when you guys sat there and watched, I think it was 1 year or 1 month, it was 80-something% of History Channel's program was Pawn Stars reruns. Didn't make a dime for each one of those reruns. And if I were
say again, what?
Okay, so so it was like in 1 month, it was like 70 or 80% of History Channel's programming was Pawn Stars. Now I only get paid for the episode one time if it airs on anything to do with A&E networks at all.
Yeah.
So now they're spreading me across 3 different networks, 4 different networks, 5 different networks, whatever. And they're having marathons on Lifetime of Pawn Stars. Now, if I was Ice-T and this was a Law and Order SVU, he's cashing a check for every single one of those.
On a rerun?
Oh yeah.
But you get paid on
I get paid on syndicated views.
Syndication, yeah.
Yes, but not as long as they're not on anything that's owned by History or owned by A&E networks.
I see. So A&E, but are you syndicated on any A&E network? I don't think you are.
Really? What I'm talking about is A&E sits there.
I see. So they could make another company.
They would have 12 hours of Pawn Stars on in a day.
Yeah.
And that I got paid nothing extra for that kind of stuff.
Plus, they're streaming it on YouTube, making a lot of money off that too.
I'm sure I see something out of that, but it's not what I should get. But I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get a very good, really fair deal with him. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever TV is like hot dogs and divorce. It's like divorce because everybody thinks they won a little bit, and a good divorce is as everybody thinks they won a little bit, and everybody thinks they got fucked a little bit.
I think what you mean is TV and hot dogs are the same because you like it. Once you know how it's made,
that's and I was kind of going with both of those at the same time. It's like a divorce too, where at the end of it, if a good TV contract is you feel like if you're working in TV, you feel like you
remember
fucked them on something and they fucked you a little bit too. And
I remember one day we were filming a scene and there was a line outside. People wanted to come in, and the scene was just stressful for some reason. I don't know what. I forgot the details, but there's always stress. Either it's conflict between us or the person selling the item. But I remember a woman was able to sneak into the shop for some reason, and she saw you and your dad at the counter when we were filming, and she instantly tears shot out of her eyes as if you guys were because she saw you guys the first time. And she goes, oh, she's like, oh my God. And I remember I was like in such a bad mood because I was filming the scene. I was like, these dudes aren't fucking Elvis. I was like, get over that.
So like,
I was like, what the hell's going on?
I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you guys a little bit about my man Jairus back. So we weren't that great of friends when we actually worked together on the show.
But we were just having a rough day that day. I was like, this is crazy.
One day was a rough day, but me and Jairus weren't that great of friends back then. Jairus was having some emotional turmoil in his life, quite a bit.
First of all, no, everyone has emotional turmoil in their life. But you don't act like you could just deflect off of sometimes you're hard to work with, dog. Okay.
All I'm saying is that we were not the best of
sometimes
buddies.
you're just hard to work with. Let's face it. Okay.
I showed up on time. We weren't filming on time.
Oh no, you all were late. Okay. But that's okay. I don't care if you guys are late.
My point being is simply this: we weren't that great. We weren't as much as buddies as we are now as we were back then. You were with Super Mega Rotten Twatch.
Hey, someone asked what was the percentage of fake customers that came through. Someone in his wait, I think it's an interesting question as well. I like this question. Cool that they weren't actually going to the pawn, but it makes the show interesting. Okay, so I want to tell people too. I don't know where you're going to say this, but I want to tell people there's a lot of people who own really expensive items, and rich people who own really cool shit. They're not. The camera's not appealing to them. They got money in their pockets and they're chilling. They're not looking for fame. But so they'll send in someone for them.
And beyond that, guys,
and we have to figure out a way to film that scene.
I hate to throw this out there because sometimes you may have a really, really cool item, but you're just too fucking ugly to be on TV.
Okay, come on. Who's too ugly to be on TV? Did that happen?
Oh,
I don't remember that.
Of course.
What are you talking about? Give me an example.
Okay,
too short to stand over the counter.
So for example, if I'm sorry if you show up and you're hearing impaired and you have a really cool item, I'm going to need you to have somebody with you to kind of help you make the deal.
Yes, but
sometimes we would get access to some stuff that was just really, really cool and we want to do it. But if you wanted to know if you wanted me to give you a percentage, I would say that 95% of what was on the show was 100%. As far as the negotiations and the buying and stuff like that, 95% of it was, there was always the kid, the mom or the dad of some executive at History Channel that wanted to come in and just be on the show. Yeah. And there was stuff like that. But, it was not a very...
no, that happened once or twice.
I myself personally filmed 2,200 items. Mm-hmm. And, it was very, 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 maybe a few times a year that it was something that we knew was just kind of like, and even when I say fake, it was just kind of like this person doesn't really want to sell it, but they want to be on TV kind of thing. Right.
Also, I'll give you guys credit. You guys sometimes bought items that were way blown out of proportion, in terms of price.
Well,
but you did it because you knew it'd be a great scene for the show.
Well, yeah, but
you guys were spending your own money. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm over here directing scenes with these guys and trying to push you guys.
This was our money that we were spending here.
Yeah,
but
I was trying to push you guys to do stuff, and if I was a pure director, I would just be directing actors who I could tell I could motivate different ways. But with you guys spending your own money, there's a lot of stakes in there. I could not. I had to be a real. I had to be pushy to get you guys to do stuff, and your money was on the line, and that was. So I appreciate that. It's just a fine line to go through.
It
fine line to walk.
It always was. I mean,
Yeah.
but there was, but remember, we also got, there's also hey, you want to buy you want to walk in, the pawn shop at one point was the number one non-gaming tourist attraction in Southern Nevada. Now the Sphere is, of course, but beyond that, there was, we were beating the Las Vegas sign at one point. So even if something was on the show, the price went up.
Yeah, but you also had items that were hard to sell. I remember.
Did I ever tell you what we did? Did I ever tell you?
I remember those items that sat there for a long time. You guys.
Oh yeah, those are the ones that we gave away on pornography.
Yeah, I went with your dad to LA.
Remember the show Pornography?
Yeah, pornography. Yeah.
Yeah. All that shit that we bought on the show.
There was one time I went to an auction with your dad, and we shot it for the show. It was in LA. You weren't there. It was only Rick, and I remember there were items there that your dad had to go through so many hoops to put in this auction. I forgot the name of it. It's like a really well known auction.
Sotheby's, Christie's.
Yeah, Sotheby's or something like that. I remember nothing sold. Right. And I was like, see, ladies, I wanted people to see, like, that's the crazy part of this business, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is they did put their own money online, and you guys did really run a shop. So that part of the show was purely legit.
Yeah, I mean, we completely did. So hold on.
And your dad, I know one thing too. Your dad loved, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but whenever we had a black customer come in the shop to sell something on the show, your dad was giddy. I don't know what he was. He was like extra nice. Your dad, he was. I saw your dad do things that I never saw him do, unless it was like a black customer coming in.
What about my dad or my grandfather?
No, your dad, Rick. Listen to me. I saw it. My crew and I would always laugh at it because your dad would be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, people always wanted a picture with your dad after they did a scene, but Rick was always like, hey, he would jump the gun. He'd be like, "Hey, you want a picture?" And the dude would be like, "Oh yeah, sure, that'll be great." Are you hearing me on this?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh, you
Hey,
are?
guess what? It's XM Ramon. I'm going to make you a moderator. Don't screw it up for me.
XM Renan, were there any scripted parts?
No, there's a... But,
What?
no,
Someone asked 100%, like 100% of the time. Speaking of the banter between you guys, always seem. Wait, were there any scripted parts? Yeah. Corey, you want to answer that question?
somebody's talking about doxing and shit like that.
You want to answer that question, Corey?
Were there any scripted parts?
Yeah, answer that.
Okay, so first of all,
Let's see how Corey's honest meter is. Let's see it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll tell you right now, guys. It's this simple. Me and my dad and me and Chumley and the old man, like, we have our own relationship. Okay, so like, I'll give you an idea of how Pawn Stars was basically.
Wait, answer the question. Don't be a politician right now.
No,
this is what politicians do. They never answer the question.
You will get the question.
Yo, you're not.
You'll get the answer. You'll get the answer.
Yo, you're not in a Congress.
I was never given
bro.
a script once. No.
All right. Congress is not here. You can answer the question.
I was never given a script once at all. But let me explain how the show was filmed, so you guys can get an idea.
Put that mic up.
We would spend 6 months or 3 months, and it would be buying items. We'd take about 3 weeks off. They'd go back to New York. And that's why you would see my beard grow in my face, out of my face. Some episodes I'd gain weight and lose weight in the same episode. And then they would take those items and they would mash them up into one episode. There was never one day of filming.
Here, sit back though.
There was never one full day of filming where it was supposed to be like an entire day or a week that we were filming in the same stuff.
Yeah.
No, a lot of that stuff was 2-3 weeks away. There was never
Corey, I think you're dancing right now.
So when we film something, of course the family scenes Do you think I'm ever gonna make a bet with Chumlee to wear a pink tutu to walk his Pomeranian? Of course, no. That's TV, guys. Like, it's not actuality. It was reality TV, but you know, the show was mainly based around the items, as far as I'm concerned. It was not ever meant to be.
There's a lot of airtime given to scenes that were in the scene work that was not.
Yes,
about
because that was the premise of the show, though, is that they would sit there. And
Now, Corey and I do have NDAs, just to let you know. So we're speaking about this.
But basically, I'll tell you right now, it was they would take 10. It would take what, 5 items, 4 items, and they would pick up. They would cherry pick them from over the course of 6 months. Some of them from a year ago, and then they would thus make a family story around those items. And then we would be told, like, okay, well, this is going to be the family story about that.
Yeah.
And then we would ad lib the entire. You know, and we knew each other well enough to where we could ad lib, and we had done the show well enough to where we could ad lib. But no, they never gave us a script. They gave us the idea, and then the idea got turned into, we would kind of just run with it.
Right. Can I elaborate a little bit more?
I mean, you're the one that fucking convinced everybody to do it.
What?
Oh, you're the
Convince everyone to do what? Convince everyone to do what?
Oh, you were the guy that was setting this up in the beginning. You're the one that set it all up in the first place. You were the executive producer, so you would know better than me.
Let's just say I'll put it like this. Okay, so like there was things happening around the shop with the guys, and we would as producers, we're only there for a certain amount of time. So if we were sitting there just shooting everything, you know, there's reality and then there's actuality. And actuality is far different from reality, because actuality means we're just sitting there with a camera following guys around who are running a pawn shop. And whatever we get is what we get. And then we go back to, you know, we go back to the edit, and then we have to make that work, right? But in terms of production costs, time, and everything, you know, people making money, their paychecks and everything, how long it would take an editor to go through all that footage, the craziness of having to really follow Corey around for 8 to 10 hours a day and make it, and hopefully he gets into a conversation that's interesting, that's, that we could use for a scene. That would take, it would make the show cost 100 times more.
It doesn't exist, guys.
It doesn't exist.
Like, if you want to watch a real reality show, Cops is going to be the closest thing that you're ever going to get.
So I'll be honest with you, producers always have an outline of like, you know, when I'm sitting there shooting a scene, I have an outline. I have like something that, and to be honest with you, I don't even think these guys ever read an outline, but I would have my own outline dedicated to what I knew I wanted to get from a scene, and even those family stories. So I would have to schedule these guys to have, I would have to schedule them to have conversations about stuff. And in terms of like covering a scene, yes, you got to produce that stuff. And they did a good job of being themselves because they were themselves. But you have to schedule this stuff. I got cameramen, I got crew, sound guy, producers. They're all making a ton of money. And for them to be standing around not knowing what's going to happen would be a heck of a waste of money, right? Don't you think?
And not my money.
Yeah, I know. All right. I could watch something right now. It's funny working in production for so long. I could watch it in the blink of an eye, tell if it was producers.
If my girl ever, I have not been in any relationship where I could watch a reality show with any person, any girl that, nope, that's fake. That's fake. That's fake. That's fake. That's fake.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Let's see here.
The Thin Crispy 975, would you have bought it? Yeah. I think we should get into that, Corey.
What?
Would you have bought it? There are things that you want to present that you want to ask me if I would have bought it.
What? If you would have bought it?
Huh?
Like what?
Like,
sorry.
Yeah. Remember I said, remember you told me this morning, you're like, you want to, there was something you said, you want to produce something that is an item. I want you to present it to me. of things you want to ask me if I would have bought it. It's something interesting and cool.
I'm lost.
You're lost.
I
guess this is see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I wish the show was recorded instead of live.
So I don't. What are you asking me? So like, is there stuff that I wish I would have bought that I didn't?
Yeah, that was
no, guys. This is an absolute.
No. This is a topic that we're going over right now. Remember? Look at the titles here, Corey. Look. Would you buy this?
Would I buy what? Yeah. What do you mean buy?
This is why. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the raw and real. I'm just gonna go into this right now. You asked me to produce a scene called "Would You Buy This" morning, and you wanted to show me something. You had weird items that you wanted to ask if I would buy it, and now you act like we didn't even have the conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about some weird stuff this morning, but like refresh my memory.
I wish I could. I said, let's do it. I wish I could refresh your memory. I don't know how to. Yeah. If this was recorded, I could easily just, edit this out. But we're live, baby. I hope you guys appreciate this, but this is not abnormal. Trust me. This is normal for everybody, every show I've ever worked on. Yeah. But we are live.
Yeah. Okay. Got me.
Dun, 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 dun. See that? Look.
So real quick, I want to know if XM or Mod, how you feel about it, if you're cool with being a monitor or not.
Who is it?
A mod. XM or Mod, I made him a mod on here.
How do you make someone a moderator?
You just click on him and say,
what is a moderator's job?
they kick people off for doing stupid stuff.
So he goes, get out. Get down.
Well, when you got somebody talking about doxing people and stuff like that, I'm not hearing. He's like, whatever.
He wrote whatever.
I appreciate it, man. You can say no if you don't want to.
What did he say?
He said, I'm down.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, that means he's down. Then Chris said, oh, he's going to hate us all now. It's always fun, guys. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't going to be fun at this point, it wouldn't have been fun a long time ago. Right, Corey?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Is that your dog?
No. It's the other dogs in there. Yeah.
I want you to dig deep into your brain right now, if you can. Dig deep. Bzzz. And tell me.
What
would that be? Would you buy this? Because you seemed like you had something. I know that you're always... See, I'll say this about Corey. You're always rattling off ideas and things. You're always spitfiring stuff. And I'm thinking... And me, I just spend all this time, getting this shit together. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I want to know what that is.
Yeah, we're just drawing a blank, bro. I really am. I'm really drawing a blank. I was like, I promise you.
Wild question. Fourth time, not the charm. Hey, Corey, answer. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. I'm saying that. Come on, man.
Yeah, honestly, if I remembered, I would answer.
Dude, it sounds like there's a dog outside.
Okay, so you're talking about that old boat dude with the fucking nasty
The
ass
boat guy?
feet at the very beginning.
Yeah, what was his name? He was named after like a sandwich or something.
I don't know, dude. But I'll tell you what, the poor sound guy on that.
He was Cajun.
The poor sound guy, dude. This guy's had the nastiest feet in the entire world. Got stuck down by this dude's feet on the boat.
You talking about Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our sound guy, I'll tell the story. Like our sound guy was you never see a sound guy on TV, but whenever you're seeing a scene, there's always a guy with audio and he's recording everything. And he can't be in the shot, so he had to duck below the deck to film the scene. And unfortunately, he was stuck right where the boat expert's feet were. And trust me on this, you do not want to be by that guy's feet. And he had to stay there for about 2 hours.
Yeah, and then they like the guy you could just tell was like the king of the trailer park.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell like he was like the king of the trailer park guy, like because he had some. Oh, dude, that
What was his name again?
you know what?
Forget his name.
The guy was just
I love the way he said, you know what BOAT stands for?
bust out another 1,000.
Bust out another
Yeah, that's-
1,000. Well, dude looked like a sandwich. Yeah, he did look like a sandwich, but I think he was named after a sandwich.
Earl?
No, he was named after a sandwich. I agree, guys. Corey, by the way, we do have people coming up that we're going to be interviewing soon, just so you all know. Unfortunately, some people, they have to back out last minute. You know what I mean? You want to do a Q&A now?
Oh, we could do a Q&A.
Q&A.
Trying to get it set up where some of you guys could actually call in too if you want.
Guys, this is a Q&A. Hey, Corey, please. He's in honest mode right now. What are you doing, Corey?
I'm looking for David James's question here. Album I've been listening to the last week or month. I've been listening to a freestyle rapper named Chris Coke. If anybody has almost at 2K subs, Valentino's best. Be prepping for that match. Yes, he will be. We'll see what happens.
Thanks. I really think that,
Jairus was actually named after Ty Cobb,
yeah, right.
or it actually related.
That makes no sense.
You're actually related to him.
What? Who wrote what? What's up?
They're asking about you. Were you named after the Cobb salad?
I wish. That means I'll be having a little bit.
So we got any questions, guys? Get them out now. What's that? What's up, Thin and Crispy? There's not any deals I ever regret passing on. If the money wasn't right, the money wasn't right, then
I bet you there's deals that you regret buying or make you regret doing.
yeah, there's stuff I bought that I didn't. I wish I didn't.
Yeah, but go ahead.
But if there was no, if the deal wasn't right, the deal wasn't right. I just wasn't going to deal with it. NHL playoff picks, I got none, man. And as far as the NFL draft goes, I got to tell you, man, I have not been into football for a very long time.
If anyone out there is a Commanders fan, shout out. I'm a Redskins Commanders fan.
There's a few things, man. So this Harold over here, things I bought that I wish I did, and it seemed legit. Not every expert. We only knew so many people. We started having to bring in people through the production company, and that Sphinx set I bought, that was fake. That was supposed to be real. That wasn't real. That kind of pissed me off for a while. All right, guys. I think we're pretty much done here, unless anybody's got something.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys watching this shit, and we will bring it back. Every time we do this, we're gonna get smoother. So what's going on in the chat? Man, we will get smoother, and I know this is gonna get.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now a national holiday, international holiday. I am now 43 years old.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's Corey's birthday right now. Boom. Congrats, bro. You made it 43.
Gross.
I'm impressed.
I wasn't supposed to make it that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Congrats.
You guys take care. Do me a favor, guys. Like and subscribe. If you don't like us, at least tell us why. Put it down in the comments. Let us know. Appreciate everything you're doing. And wow, here's going to come the birthday calls here for me. So
You want to take him on live on air?
no.
Okay.
So love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out in the camp, and talk to you guys soon.